Greetings, traveler. Sleep upon the hours that darkness keeps. Wake upon the footfall of a creature that creeps. Pray for the light to save you from your fate. Sleep in the grave, now it's too late. I wrote that for my wife. She didn't care for it either. It's Dead Reckoning, Episode 7. Tonight, we're talking about spaghetti horror, homemade toys, and frisky dinosaurs.
Join us.
Hi, I'm Kirsty. I watch horror films when my partner's doing jiu-jitsu. So for my week in horror, I watched two films, one of which I'd seen before, one of which I'd never seen. So the one that I'd seen before, I'm working my way through the top 100 horror films of all time, which I keep wanting to check who decided this list and keep forgetting.
Yeah, whose list is that? Is it the Rotten Tomatoes
horror
one?
No, I think it's some horror website. They've got like a docket. It was on TV, and it was like it begins with a T. I'll work it out. I'll find it in a minute. And I was working my way through the full list, and obviously there's some that I've seen and I know really well, but there was some which I've only maybe seen once. So I decided to rewatch those, and one of the ones was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I've actually only seen that once.
That's enough.
I didn't like it. I wasn't scared by it. I wasn't disturbed by it. I found it quite boring. And I remember this from the first time I watched it, which was, I think, I was probably about 19 when I first saw it, because it was on the Director of Public Prosecutions list, which is also known as the Video Nasties list in this country. So in the late 70s, early 80s, there was this campaign to sort of ban a lot of horror films. Honestly, some of them were horrible and they were not artistic anyway. They were not entertaining. It was just a relentless rape horror, and there was no story. It was just like, a lot of them were Nazi death camp pornos, basically, that add horror within them. And so the Director of Public Prosecutions decided that they were going to ban. It was about 70 films that were banned in the end. We're not given a certificate for release. There's hardly any of them left. And one of them that was on the least, there was 3 categories. There was the first category was like, no one's ever going to be able to watch this. It's completely banned. The second and it was illegal to distribute it, own it, give it to someone, just to trade in it in any way. The second part of the list was about 30 films on that. It was just illegal to sell it. And then the third part of the list, it was illegal to sell it and promote it, but you could still watch it. That was not illegal. And there was a lot of other things that were banned. So I kind of went down a rabbit hole this week on Wikipedia of looking at things that were banned. So I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't like it. I still don't like it. I still find it I get it. I get that it's like seminal in the genre, and that a lot of things, copied it and were influenced by it. I kind of see that there was a bit of political and social commentary in the beginning where it's talking about how bad America has got, so many murders, so many just terrible incidents that were taking place. But actually, when you watch it back, I found it was like the pacing of it was terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
Really slow pacing. And then I found that the killings of the men are just fast and done. Like, hit him in the head with a hammer, he's dead.
Yeah.
Whereas the killing and the torture of the women is drawn out, and it's like there's so many screams in it, like constant screaming. The character Franklin, who's in the wheelchair, is the most irritating character in film. So annoying. And I was like, he's so irritating, he's so whiny. His sister is Sally. who is the final girl, and just his horrible whiny Sally. I was just like, fucking shut the fuck up, Franklin. Like, I can't wait for him to die. I'm watching it going, I can't wait for you to die. When will you die, Franklin? You fucking arsehole. I hate you. I really hated that character. And then there's a section where they're sort of in the dark. They're heading towards the family house. And she's pushing him in the wheelchair. And they're both calling out to the person that, like, and that's just there. It's just like shouting, screaming his name for about 3 or 4 minutes, just screaming a name over and over again. And I was like, this is fucking awful.
Cut.
And then the sort of chase, it's like edited really badly. So it's just like, they just have these very long sections which get really dull to the point that you lose the horror sense of it, because it's like, it's like, fine, die, then die. I don't care. Someone come out and kill them both right now. Because they're really annoying me.
When they're having dinner as well, there's a bit where they're having dinner and they bring out like the grandpa.
Yeah.
And it's just clearly just like a guy in like a mask that's like made for about 10p. And he's just like, woo!
Yeah. They could have just used a very old man and done a bit of makeup on him or something. But instead it's a very clearly just a rubber mask.
He looks like something, you know, when you go on those like cheap fairground ghost rides?
Yeah. And it's just really drawn out and really, like, and she's the whole way through, she's just screaming at the top of her lungs. Like, and I know that she was like put in the Horror Hall of Fame and commended for the relentlessness of her acting in that. But honestly, I was watching it getting just fucking bored. And I was like, I don't care about any of these characters. They don't give you the space to care about them or like want them to succeed. That none of that happens. It's just kind of like, I don't give a shit about any of these kids. They're annoying. They're stupid. I don't get why they're here.
They're just focused on that end goal of let's just make the most disgusting horror movie ever.
Yeah,
and let's not worry about character development or writing or any of that nonsense. Let's just get quickly to the end where they get their head smashed in with a mallet or something.
And there's a couple of like nice moments in it. The moment when she actually escapes and she's in the back of the pickup truck and she's laughing and she's covered in blood and she's laughing her head off. That's really cool. I like that. I actually like him sort of dancing around with his chainsaw at the end. Like, he's clearly unhinged. But the rest of it, I was like, this isn't good. You can tell it's someone's first film. You can really tell.
In any of the sequels, like Leatherface as well is made out to be like a bit of a silent protagonist, like a Jason Voorhees type sort of silent guy. But in the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he's clearly just, his brief is basically just be like a psycho, mentally disabled guy. Like, he just runs around going, ooh!
Yeah. I looked on Wikipedia and it said, it influenced a lot of other films. For example, using everyday implements as a weapon. I was like, I don't think it did, really. Because, like, it's like they use a hammer and a chainsaw. It's like, sorry, they were using hammers and chainsaws and everyday implements to kill people in horror films in the 1920s. This is not a new thing that he invented. And then it was like, this sort of like big hulking, slow moving figure who doesn't speak. Like, you get Jason and Michael Myers, but actually he does make noise. He's like, there's times when he thinks he's got something wrong and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, it's kind of like that kind of vibe off him. Yeah. And I was like, actually, you've all just applied this to this film later, trying to legitimize it, when actually it's not a very good film.
Exactly.
And then I watched another film, which I just sort of looked at some recent films and I watched Run Rabbit Run. It's a 2023 Australian psychological horror film. First-timer director, first-timer film writer. Hannah Kent, who wrote it, is actually a psychological thriller author, but she's only written 3 books. And then she got signed up to do this for Netflix. And I'm glad I didn't read the reviews before I watched it. Otherwise, I might not have watched it because the reviews are awful.
That's why I haven't watched it, because it gets such bad reviews.
The thing is, though, it's actually, I find it really effective. I think the reason for the bad reviews is that, first of all, I think there's a bit of xenophobia because Americans are like, they're Australian. That means it's the same as the Babadook. And it's like, it's the same as the Babadook. It's like, it's not the same as it in any way. It's just that it has a mum and a kid, which a lot of horror films do. The Exorcist has a mum and a kid. Do you know what I mean? I think it's because it's Australian. They've said Australian mum, kid. exactly the same as that film. It's not in any way. I really enjoyed it. I thought it's a very slow burn, and there's a lot of little sort of edge. You just feel on edge the whole way through, which was why I liked it. From the start, it's set. I'm not sure where it's set. Queensland, I want to say, but it's super windy and like overcast, and that's how they shoot it. And there's something about wind in a horror film which really puts me on edge. And just the big trees are like blowing, and it's like you can feel it's going to be cold. It's annoying. No one wants to be out when it's windy, and it's just like it's got this kind of vibe to it. And it's basically a woman who's divorced. She's got a little 7-year-old girl, and they just plant these little seeds of there's a secret in the family throughout it. The little girl's got this very expressive face. She kind of looks like she could be possessed by an old lady, and kind of that is what the story is. So she starts to talk like her mum's dead sister. She starts to talk about her mum's mother, who she's never met, who's in a nursing home with dementia. And like the mum is like, shut up, we're not talking about her. And she's like, I want to, and they call her Joan, they don't call her grandma. She's like, I want to go and see Joan. I want to see Joan. I want to live with Joan. And like the mum's slowly losing her fucking grip. She's like, I don't get on with my mum. I don't talk to her. And this little girl's obsessed with seeing this woman. And there's just this dark family secret which they kind of limp towards, but it's just so oppressive. The whole vibe of it is, you think every single scene, you think, what's going to go on now? And there's just things like minor sort of injuries that take place, like accidents, like horrible things, just like socially awkward things happen. And it just, in every single scene, to the point where you're just properly on edge the whole way through it. And then you realize that something's gone on. There's a secret in this family. And the little girl knows it through supernatural means. And other people kind of know it. And it's just very creepy. It is a slow burn. There's not any big elements in it. There's no death in it. There's no particular bad injury in it, anything like that, the elements of horror. But it's just every single minute you're thinking, oh God, that could happen. Oh, that could happen. Oh God, that could happen. And then at the end, it's sort of, it implies an ending. I think they probably struggled with the end because it's not explicit, but in general, you're just sort of like, oh shit. Like you could have plotted right from the first 10 minutes that this isn't going to end well. And this lady isn't going to end the film with a full happy family. It's all going to go wrong. But I really liked it, but I'm so glad I didn't read the reviews, because I don't think I ever would have watched it if I had. The reviews call it super boring and slow and ponderous, and it's like, I teach teenagers, and I know that there is an a global issue with attention right now that's come from COVID. And I do think it's an after effect of like, no one wants to just wait and experience things anymore. It's like, nothing's happened in 10 minutes. It's boring. And it's like, no, it's called a slow burn, and like, it's building dread, it's building atmosphere. And it's like, no one's died. No one's been killed. No one's exploded. Boring. And I actually think it's not boring. It's not boring. It's just slow, ponderous, and dreadful. You're sort of like, oh God, you're walking as if you're walking very slowly towards doom. And then some idiot in your ear is going to be, just run towards doom. It's like, no, I don't think I will actually. I think I'll just walk. I like Australian horror and I like Spanish horror. There's something about those two nations that I find very interesting. Like, I don't know about Australia, such an obvious, well, you live there. It's a big, expansive place that kind of, I don't think anyone really outside of Australia understands how big it is and how kind of far you are from things at any one time. And I think that's part of the dread of it, is like, everything's remote, everything's separate, everything's isolated. So even their big fancy glass fronted house, because she's a doctor, she's rich, she's got some money. They've got this very fancy modern house. Even that seems super isolated. and far from anything, and like therefore far from help and connection. And whenever like the kid's dad is involved, he has to drive for ages to get there, and he's always late. And they present this really good sense of isolation and disconnection in the film that we don't get over here because we're such a small country. And if you've got a kid and the kid's doing weird shit, you can't just go and get help. It's like, oh, I kind of got to put up with this till tomorrow. Do you know what I mean?
It's always horror movie gold when they have a little girl who says something completely unhinged just out of the blue.
Yeah, well, they find a rabbit. So it's her birthday in the beginning. And there's a lovely juxtaposition between it being her birthday, which is a happy, fun time, but actually the weather is so dark and windy. And like all the birthday decorations are just kind of flapping about. There's no one at her birthday party because granddad's died. Grandma's in a nursing home. She's kind of got her dad and her stepmom and her stepmom's kid, and that's it. There's no friends. There's no one else. It's just like 5 of them. And then when she comes home on her birthday, she finds a rabbit just hopping about, which is supposed to be symbolic or something, I imagine, but they don't really handle that very well. I'll give the critics that. This rabbit just kind of shows up, and then she's got, oh my god, I've got a rabbit, and then the mum tries to bin it off and like get rid of it, and the kid sees it and she's like, no, don't get rid of my rabbit. The rabbit bites the mum, and the rabbit is kind of this, it's almost like a little ghost in the whole film. And the kid makes a mask of a rabbit, which is fucking terrifying, because imagine you give a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old and go, make a convincing rabbit mask but on your own with no help. And it's like, okay, and the rabbit mask is horrifying. It covers her entire face.
Unimaginable horrors.
Yeah, it's really creepy when she has it on. But it's really realistic that she probably could have made it because she's a kid and she's not very good with, the kids' scissors. They're not good scissors.
You know what? They would have had the art and design team have a few cracks at that, and then they would have said, let me just get my kid to have a go.
Yeah, because of...
Oh my God, burn it!
I cut my ears off with safety scissors.
It really does look like it's been made with these blunt safety scissors that don't cut anything, and so it's kind of shit. And then she puts it on and she won't take it off. But then she also keeps insisting that her name is Alice, which is her mum's dead sister. And there was an incident when they were kids where Alice went missing. And she keeps saying, my name's Alice. It's not Mia, it's Alice. And you're not my mum. And so you have got this little, like, impish, like, face that she kind of looks... Do you know what she looked for? Like, this won't make sense to any of the listeners. But our sister Holly, when she was young, when she was 6 or 7, the image of this kid, right? So very, like, almost a face that's a bit too big for you when you're a kid. Do you know what I mean? Like, Holly's 19 now and she's very pretty, but when she was a kid, her face was kind of too big for herself in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like, too characterful. And that's exactly what this little girl looks like. And it's like, whoa, spooky. But a great, I really loved it. I thought it was a good film. It wasn't groundbreaking, it wasn't amazing, but I enjoyed it. And I thought the acting was great. I did enjoy the story. There's some genuinely spooky, horrible moments, and also some moments where you're like, in real life, you think, how would I deal with that? Because it's a real thing. It's not supernatural. No one's in on the supernatural joke, but there's just stuff that happens, and it's like, shit, how would I explain that?
So to give you a couple of Australian facts. So first of all, that movie was filmed in South Australia, which is known for 2 things. 1, it's where you go if you want to do the great white shark cage diving, and 2, it's the home of serial killers.
Well, there's no serial killer. It's like, I don't want to. So if you're planning on watching it and don't want it ruined, just skip for a minute. But basically, the house where they grew up, the mum when she was a kid, and her sister Alice who went missing, it's virtually right on the edge of a cliff. And you sort of look and you go, that's not going to end well. Why would you bring up 2 little girls who love exploring right on the edge of a very sheer cliff? And they have all these aerial shots, and you're like, terrible place to bring up children. Do you know what reminded me a little bit in the layout was the film Lake Mungo? Do you know that film?
Yeah.
Where it's like the ghost story, and it's like, it kind of reminded me a little bit of that when there's like a, just a lake with it covered in scrubland and bush around it, and you could imagine very easily someone going missing and all that. But I liked it.
It's not just the cliff you've got to worry about, it's also erosion.
Yeah.
It's a real issue. I don't know if you remember, Kirsty, but when you were here and we were at the coast house, there's that big fancy glass house on the hill.
Yeah.
Which is sort of also on a cliff towards the sea, and that's where they filmed. That was the guy's house in The Invisible Man.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Because a lot of these movies are filmed in Australia. Like there's a Liam Neeson movie supposed to be in Washington, and it was in Canberra because it's cheaper to shut down Canberra than it is Washington.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are they going to do with all the gum trees in the background? They're going to just hope that Americans don't know what trees they are.
Pearl, I watched last week, that was filmed in New Zealand because they wanted somewhere that looked like an American farm in the 1950s. But they couldn't film in America because now all those farms don't exist anymore because they're all just like...
If they want something from the past, just go to New Zealand or Scotland.
Yeah, basically. They were like, we need somewhere that's basically got a farmhouse, like a barn. And they were like, oh yeah, New Zealand's got tons of those. And also because of the COVID restrictions, there were so few people around. Like, because they had such harsh COVID restrictions. Like, once they'd gone through the quarantine, it was like, yeah, you can film in this very desolate area, but they kind of also had to sleep and live there when they were filming because they weren't allowed to travel. And in the film, that everyone's scared of the Spanish flu, so it made it perfect. It's like you just go and film. It's like there's no one around. No one wants to get COVID, and just like in 1919, no one wanted to get the Spanish flu. So you look at it and you think, oh, that's 100% Texas, 100%, and it's not. It's New Zealand. Modern day 2023 looks like 1919 Texas, and that's so same. And it's like everything's very isolated, but yeah, I like Run Rabbit Run. I thought it was a good film.
Hi, I'm Jed. I don't own a black cat, but I've got a black and white rabbit, and I like horror films. I've been on a bit of a Frankenstein kick, to be honest. I did intend to watch Poor Things, but I got a bit sidetracked because I tried to watch it and I really wasn't in the mood, and I left it on for about 5 minutes, and it's just black and white, and it's just basically Emma Stone at a piano, just like mashing the keyboards, and then Willem Dafoe comes in with a face all flashed up. I was like, oh, it's going to be one of them films, isn't it, where everything's just completely obscure. And I was like, nah, I'm just going to turn this off for a bit. So I decided to watch Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which is directed by Kenneth Branagh from 1994, which is a fairly sort of old school one, but it's not even the best adaptation of Frankenstein, but it sort of rode the coattails of Bram Stoker's Dracula from 1992. It was like that film was popular, and then they were like, oh, everybody seemed to like Dracula. Maybe we should do Frankenstein.
Give it your stamp of approval.
Kenneth Branagh's Frankenstein starts off with the old Arctic thing where Frankenstein's on the ice.
Yeah.
And he obviously tells the story of his life again. But Robert De Niro is the monster. And it's just basically Robert De Niro on stilts, more or less. Because he's not a very big man. He's not like a massive fella, but they've shot him from behind, and they make him look a lot more massive than he is, and they just put sort of stereotypical stitches in his head. I also forgot that Helena Bonham Carter was in this movie, and she's kind of his wife, also the bride of Frankenstein in the end. But I watched one of the main reasons that I watched that is because we recently decided to watch film that's been batted about a lot more on streaming, which is Lisa Frankenstein, which I'll get onto in a minute. But yeah, I mean, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, it's not a very good adaptation, but I mean, a lot of people show up who are the be-all and end-all of British. So you got Richard Bryars is in it as well as this old blind man, as well as you get John Cleese as this professor, and Ian Holm as Victor Frankenstein's dad. So you get sort of a bit of a melting pot of sort of British drama, just all in one sort of film. It was relatively popular when it came out, but it's not a very good movie. But we decided to watch that because we watched Lisa Frankenstein, which is it's a bit of a mixed bag, really. But it's the first film that's been directed by Zelda Williams, which is Robin Williams' daughter.
Oh, is it really? Oh, that's quite good. I didn't know that.
I saw that as a sort of subheading when it was advertised, so I was like, oh, that sounds a bit interesting. But it's set in the 80s, And Lisa Frankenstein's played by Catherine Newton. She's probably most well known for being she's in the Ant-Man films. Like she's like Ant-Man's daughter at the moment. But she's been in a lot of sort of young adult films. She's in Paranormal Activity 2 as well, which is not exactly the best starring to be in. But with Lisa Frankenstein, she's like this stereotypical goth girl, and it all starts out with her doing like tombstone rubbings in a cemetery. For some unknown reason, a tombstone of a person who's been infatuated with, he gets struck by lightning, and for some reason he comes back as a zombie. But it's basically her and her sort of pet zombie, and there's a whole thing where he's like, the more he comes to life by being put into a tanning bed.
Is that like Warm Bodies sort of thing?
Yeah, kind of sort of vibe as that as well, yeah. But it's just sort of a very sort of kooky sort of silly vibe to it as well. And she's like completely unhinged. The creature is played by Cole Sprouse as well. So he's like famous child actor. But the whole vibe of it is just really sort of kooky and silly and funny. I didn't expect much for it going in, but I was really surprised in how it actually came off. It's also set in the same universe as Jennifer's Body. Like, I was just reading about it on Wikipedia, and the person who wrote it, Diablo Cody, he says that it's set in the same universe as Jennifer's Body as well. But the whole point of the film is just, like, really, really silly. But also her dad is played by Joel Crest. He's one of the dads in Stranger Things. Obviously, it's set in the 80s, and, like, her, like, oddball dad is played by one of the dads out of Stranger Things. You can tell they sort of stole the whole vibe from it, but even like the clothes are just completely like over the top 80s. It's all like hairspray and aerobics gear and all sorts. But yeah, Lisa Frankenstein, which is directed by Zelda Williams, the late Robin Williams' daughter, is certainly something to check out. I think it's on all streaming platforms at the moment. Yeah,
I did put it on my, when you said you were going to watch it, and it's something that I've been meaning to watch. It kind of reminds me a little bit of in American Horror Story Coven. There's a little storyline there where a handsome guy dies and they kind of resurrect him, and he's not. It doesn't go very well.
Yeah.
It's like and they're all teenagers, and it's like
the violence in it is like so silly and over the top. I have to sum it up. I would say it was kind of like Heathers crossed with Edward Scissorhands, but with a bit less of a bleak tone. It's just dead sort of funny and light-hearted, but it still has really dark moments, so you're just like, oh, that's not good.
Hi, I'm Paul. I watch horror movies at night after my family's gone to bed. After learning my origin story last episode, you know, the one where I was baptized by an exorcist, I decided I should probably change my name to something in the same vein as Constantine or Jericho Kane and start fighting evil.
Yeah.
That's my new. But then, during my mundane daily tasks around the house, I said out loud, that's what that button's from. So instead, I've decided I'm just going to leave all my money to the kids and just walk into the sea. Never to return. My life's over. So looking for movies, I watched something that has been highly recommended as well. And God, it's so hit and miss with horror movies. Because again, I could have watched Run Rabbit Run, which would have been great, but it got such bad reviews. One that got great reviews was The Beyond from 1981. And I thought, well, that could have passed me by. Sure, I'll have a look at it. The best thing about it is when it first starts, it's got that old school grindhouse releasing thing. You know, the one that Tarantino put on his movies when he did Death Proof?
Oh, like a film roll type thing.
Yeah, and he wants it to be that old school, like, grindhouse sort of stuff. But this was the real deal, right? So that was pretty cool. And then the sort of starting sequence is quite horrifying, and I'm like, oh, okay, yep, this sounds good. But it's fresh. I don't know what so they like chase him into this basement and whatever, and I won't spoil it. I mean, it's 1981, so. But they chase this guy into this basement for some reason. They think he's some sort of, well, they call him a warlock, and chase him into the basement. And there's this stuff there, and it just looks like plaster. So if you ever done any like plaster repair or something, and you get the plaster in the little, with the trowel and everything, the little bucket, except it's bubbling, and they throw it on him and it sort of melts him completely. So I don't know what that is. I'll have to find out what that is. It's some like super hot porridge or something. So that was a bit weird. But the music while this is happening is like this It's this old, like 70s hard funk music. You know, like War of the Worlds, where it's got that like really like 70s funky sort of soundtrack with all the weird MIDI like panpipes and stuff in it. It's that sort of music. And I was like, that's bizarre. You don't have that sort of music under it. It's like someone said, we can't really afford Dario Argento, like Goblin sort of music, but can someone do something similar? Basically, this woman inherits this haunted hotel in Louisiana. And it starts up and I'm like, it's Louisiana, Americans in it, all American actors. Product of Rome. And all the titles are in Italian at the start of it. It's all in English and it's not dubbed or anything. And it's set in America. There wasn't such a thing as the spaghetti horror, was there?
Well, there was.
Like spaghetti westerns.
So it's giallo, isn't it? It's like maybe they were just trying to take off that look of them because there were hundreds of them. They used to churn them out like just like the spaghetti westerns. They used to churn out so a lot. I was talking about before about the DPP list, the video nasties list. Loads of them were Italian. They used to churn them out just like death all the time. And then you've got Dario Argento and Mario Bava, like doing like all these types of films. So like maybe it was like inspired by giallo.
Some of the giallo titles are amazing. If you just look on the Wikipedia thing, they're just like they have changed their face. The iguana with the tongue of fire. Human cobras. Don't torture a duckling. Who killed the prosecutor and why?
And why?
Your vice is a locked room and only I have the key.
So anyway, I thought that's off to a good start. And then there's some guys working on the outside of the house on this like scaffold, like a 3-meter scaffold. And he looks in the window and there's a woman at the start of it as well. You don't know what she's doing. She finds a book and starts reading from this book, like Evil Dead sort of thing. And you see her with these like cloudy eyes in there, obviously a ghost considering the time that's passed. And she doesn't look a day older. And he freaks out and falls backwards off this scaffold, lands on his back on soft, damp American dirt and grass. And this big jet of blood spurts out of his mouth. I'm like, holy hell. I don't think that would happen. Anyway, next scene is on the couch in the house asking for a doctor. So they dragged him off the ground with his back injury. So this doctor appears and it's so like straight to TV sort of thing. They say, oh, we need to get a doctor. And within like 5 seconds, someone appears from the doorway and goes, I'm a doctor. So what he does, he walks over to the couch. They definitely did not consult with anyone in this movie. I don't even think they would have had a first aid person handy because they would have picked up on this as well. So he clumsily, these like big clumsy fingers goes to his eye and pries down his lower eyelid and shows nothing, obviously, and then goes up to the top one, and then, there's his pupil, and it's like rolled back a little bit. And then he declares he needs to go to a hospital. Like, what fucking doctor is this? So then he's like, okay, fine, he needs to go. So he gets help from one of the other guys who stood there, and they carry this guy, like, who's obviously got a back injury, out like a sack of potatoes. The doctor's got him under the arms. This other guy's got him by the ankles, and they just sort of drag him out like that. I'm like, well, fuck me.
I was watching this, like, they didn't even put him in the recovery position or nothing. Turn it off.
It was just like the comedy, like clumsy fumbling to get an eyelid open. And then they're just like dragging him out, bent in half. I had to turn it off. And at that point, on Shudder, I'm like, okay, well, it's too late to start watching something else now. I'll just put something on for a few minutes and then I'll go to bed. And I saw this one called Deathstalker. And there was Deathstalker and Deathstalker 2. And the cover, it doesn't look good, but the cover was just like a heavy metal album cover. It was just all muscles and swords and dragons. And I was like, I reckon that'll be quite funny. It's basically just He-Man, the porno.
Bold.
So that went off. But then I know it's like one thing that really annoys me with streaming platforms is they create their own categories. And I'm like, they're supposed to make it easier for people to find stuff. And Shudder's a little bit better, but like Netflix and all the others that are scrolling through looking for movies, the categories, instead of just genres like comedy, horror, thriller, sci-fi, action, it's like movies with dogs in them. Bookmark that one anyway. Movies with more than one Kate. Ice cream movies. Who likes woodwork? And I'm like, what are these fucking categories? If you were looking for a movie, there's no way you'd ever find it. I'd like to watch a supernatural horror. Good fucking luck.
Have you never come home from work and gone like, I want to watch an ice cream movie?
Nowadays as well, it comes up with big things on it where it says contains depictions of tobacco. And it's just like, I've literally just watched the guy get his head cut off and you warned me about smoking at the start.
Because not chopping people's heads off, that's a given. But
it's like today I went to watch, and this isn't anything really, I mean, you could probably class it as a bit of horror because there's some extreme violence, but I went to watch Dune Part 2 today, and there's like some pretty visceral violence. There's like loads of throat cutting and beheadings and piles of burning bodies and stuff. It's a 12A. That's the same rating as Mrs. Stoutfire.
So I don't know if you guys do this. I certainly do. But because I'm desperate to watch horror movies all the time, I just scroll and scroll and scroll through things like a junkie. And I'm generally on any of the platforms, or I'm on my phone with the same searches of like best horror movies, what horror movies do I watch, blah, 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 horror movie recommendations. And the problem is that when I come to accept that there are no awesome horror movies that I haven't watched anywhere, no like amazing uncovered gems that I've missed, and I've just seen all the good ones now and I've got to wait for new stuff, I'll find one such as, and to bring up another Australian horror that I watched a while ago now, The Tunnel, which is one, it's an older movie that I've just not seen, and it was absolutely awesome. It's a found footage style, but it's of a TV crew. They go into a tunnel and there's a monster in there. That's not spoiling it. That's just, you know that going in. But being found footage, what I found is it takes a very special actor to do found footage and do it well. Like if you get a decent A-list actor, they'll screw it up. But then if you get an inexperienced actor, it'll be too much the other way and it makes it shit. So I found that in found footage, there are very few actors who can make you believe that this actually happened. The actors in this, aside from probably the best actor in it, is the main character. And she's clearly a better actor than the others, but she's making it like a TV drama series. And it's like, oh no, she's much better at acting, but I can tell she's acting. Whereas everyone else in it, you could believe that this is actually found footage from a TV crew. They're so good at it.
Like Manuela Velasco in Rec. Like she's just brilliant.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't say she is the world's greatest actress, but she's just really believable at what she does.
But it's not that they're an inexperienced actor and they're just being a dopey person on camera. And it's not that they're an amazing actor and they'll be in movies, but they just sell it so well.
Like Heather Donahue in the Blair Witch Project, that was just like, that was the main thing that made it believable. Like the first time everyone watched that, people were like, what the hell's happening? It's like, have they been killed by something? What's happened here? I think the Blair Witch Project was a very big opening point in sort of modern sort of found footage films. People would genuinely, it was one of the first films to take on sort of viral marketing as well, to set up like a sort of janky website, like, oh, what's happened here? Like completely viral marketing when viral wasn't even a thing.
I was just looking up Heather Donahue because I was like, what happened to her? She had to change her name because she had some horrible encounters with people after that film came out. She changed her name completely and then started growing medical marijuana.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what she does.
Because they didn't like the movie, or?
Yeah, she said like people really, really hated her after that film. And I suppose like she's not a sympathetic character in Blair Witch Project. She's crying, she's all snotty, she's like quite whingy.
I am so sorry.
And because it was such a big film and she just wasn't used to, and she was like quite inexperienced, just wasn't used to sort of like dealing with that. And she actually found like a lot of people were very threatening towards it, and no one would employ her as an actress. Like very few people wanted to employ her as an actress, and then she just kind of in 2008 she quit acting and started. She became a medical marijuana grower and changed her name to Ray Hance.
Well, it sounds like she's had the last laugh there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What an amazing life she's carved out for herself.
Just like smoking weed, going, oh, did I go to that horror convention or not? Nah, I'm not going to go.
I dare say she's not short a few cents either after being in that movie.
Well, I don't think she made a lot of money from anything in Blair Witch. Like, she didn't make a lot of money for being in it. And then, even though she was on the cover of everything, she had to really fight to get any money from for permission to use her name and sort of her face. And all the sequels to the Blair Witch Project, they always wanted to use her name and her face and say, you know, and bits of footage that she'd used in Blair Witch. And it took her a long time to get any money out of that. So she actually didn't make very much money, and no one would hire her after Blair Witch.
Blair Witch 2 is probably one of the worst films ever made, though. I can hate that movie.
They did Book of Shadows.
Oh yeah, that was
They
horrible.
did the Massacre of the Burkittsville 7, The Blair Witch Legacy. They did Sticks and Stones, an exploration of the Blair Witch legend. And they did Blair Witch, which was in 2016, which they used their archival footage. So they kept trying to remake it.
Trying to rebottle that fire, but it's gone now.
Yeah.
Just give it up.
But I think part of the fun of Blair Witch is that it's hearsay. It's not real. Even the sort of story of the Blair Witch is like they say it's probably not true, or you know. It's difficult to then keep making. I remember when that came out. So I was at university when that came out, Blair Witch, and I was studying film at university when this film came out that changed the whole film landscape because it was so cheap. It was a found footage thing. It was unknown people. It was like they'll use social media and the internet, which didn't even exist prior to that time. Do you know what I mean? So like it was the first internet film, and it just changed. It's mad. It was mad studying film when that came out because they're teaching you all this stuff, and then this film comes out and they go, forget everything we've said. It reminded me of when we learned when I went to university in 1998. We learned to edit on analog tape cutting editing machines, where literally you had pinwheels and you would scroll back and forth and you could make cuts using these just big editing machines.
You need a third tape to do a dissolve.
Yeah, and we learned how to use that. I was actually really good at it. I was somehow really, really good at it. I was the top editor out of the year. And then we came back in September for the second year, and I just remember walking towards the university and there was a skip and all the editing machines were in it. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, what's happened to the editing machines? Like, oh, we edit on computer now. I was like, for fuck's sake. 1998 was the absolute worst year to begin a film degree because all the editing changed to computer editing. And then in 1999, Blair Witch came out and totally fucked with everything. So all the lecturers, they were like, I'm so learned about film, were suddenly like, I don't fucking know. What is the internet? It's gone nuts. Like, what's this thing, the internet, where people can learn about films on the internet? It's Blair Witch, and they're talking about they made up these fake, biographies for these people, saying they were real people, and everyone just fucking believed it. That's why it was so huge. Because why wouldn't you believe something that you looked at on a screen? You know what I mean? The idea that idiots were writing this stuff and just you could, and that broadcast was not, and sort of publishing was no longer being, there was no gatekeeping in it. Was a completely new thing. So people were looking at that going, if they say Heather Donahue is a real person, I have to believe it because it's published on a screen. And you have to be a doctor or something. They have to pass a test. It's oh no, mate, this is the internet. Any fucking moron can put anything they want on the internet and it's fine. And it was odd. That's why it just came around at such the perfect time.
There's only two websites on there. One's the Blair Witch and the other one's Space Jam. Which is still up.
It's almost like that Foo Fighters documentary Sound City, where it's that recording studio that did all the massive bands, and then this dickhead comes out and goes, I can do all this on a computer. And they're like, right, we're out of business. The dream's over. Yeah. Sell everything.
Yeah, but it's like it should have been a really like innovative and fun time to be a wannabe filmmaker. Really, but actually, it was just really disorientating because your lecturers haven't got a fucking clue what's going on anymore. They're like, oh, I'm from the era of like to make a film you had to have millions of dollars. Like even independent film cost too much money, and it's like it was the time before stuff like I guess. I don't know, like Clerks and things like low budget films existed, but the idea that you could make a film and then promote it using no money, like normally it was the promotion that cost the money, the marketing, and it's like, oh no, you can promote it just by just lying about who people are, and like no one knows who this person is, and you can't Google them like we do. Like, who is that? Oh, it's this person. I just found out that she sells medical marijuana and she's changed her name. You could not do that. Like, so if someone just told you, oh yeah, that person's dead, you go, oh, okay. Okay, that's sad.
What was the marketing? They just spent like $20, like putting like 3 obituaries in a local newspaper. Like, it's real.
The biggest cost of the Blair Witch Project was actually get it ready to put on a cinema screen. Because it was all done in a cheap way.
High 8.
The actual cost, it cost $60,000 was the original budget, but then it cost 10 times that to actually get it ready to put on a cinema screen because it was made to be watched on a video. So the final cost was $750,000 after they had to do all the post-production to make sure it was theatrically ready.
Yeah, master it all. And
yeah, and now you wouldn't have to do any of that. It's just, it would already be like, well, even like you can buy.
That's how 3 idiots get to make a podcast.
Yeah, but you can buy a camera for $5,000, which shoots at 24 frames a second in digital and can be put on a cinema screen and directly to a cinema screen.
Well, there've been a few movies now that have been filmed on iPhones.
Oh yeah, like the first. So that I went to see a film called Tarnation, which was a documentary, and it was the first film to ever be made on an Apple iMac and edited completely. It was all previously shot footage that was then edited through an iMac and put into cinemas, and that was the first film that had done that. It was about 2006, I think, and it was like, yeah, you can just do this on a computer and it can be on a cinema screen, and you'd never been able to do that before that point. But they're just the software moved that quickly in that amount of time, and then now you can film a feature film on a phone and stick it to a projector, and there it goes. We're actually in an age of really cool opportunities for independent film. It's just I think people don't have very good ideas, and that's the problem.
Yeah, it's the writing and the.
But yeah, we're in a deficit of people who can write, like people who can actually create and write and come up with ideas and write good scripts, and that's what we're lacking. Like the technology's flown. But in all that time, what's happened is that people are not as good at crafting story, characters, and dialogue.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Since I went through the 90s previously, I'm going to do a quick roundup over the next few weeks of 80s films, starting from 1980, which is one of the films in Disney's sort of live-action dark period, which is Watcher in the Woods, which stars Betty Davis in one of her sort of later film roles. The film's actually remade in 2017 with Angelica Houston playing the Betty Davis role, but basically this American family moves into this manor house in sort of rural England, and Betty Davis plays Mrs. Aylwood, who's the owner of the residence, but it's one of them films where it's got sort of like freaky. It's like the girl ends up getting in touch with like the spirits that are in the property, but it's just really sort of dark and foreboding. Like also as well, like Betty Davis spends the entire film just saying "my Karen," like because that's the door, and it goes, "My Karen said that. My Karen said this," and it goes, "My Karen always liked that mirror." Like he spends the whole time just literally just saying that. But He's definitely a sort of example of the Disney dark period of films.
I just Googled it and it traumatized an entire generation of Americans. So,
yeah,
there you go.
It's one of those dark Disney films. There was a whole run of like late 70s, like early to mid 80s films Disney did where they were just like a really whole bunch of dark and grim films. This is a sort of post, sort of whatever happened to Baby Jane, Betty Davis, where she just looks like a absolute manic, insane grandma. So it's definitely one of those films. But also, there's a whole point where one of the characters in Watcher in the Woods is a local hermit who lives in the woods. What are you even doing, like talking to him? It's like you're worried about ghosts, you're worried about being possessed by a demon, and now you're literally just like talking to the creepiest and weirdest old man that you randomly meet in the middle of the woods. It's just like this is not going to end well. Plus, the act, aside from Betty Davis, every other actor in this film is completely terrible. Like Carol Baker, who plays the main sort of character in it, she's just completely completely wooden. But she was also the mum in Kindergarten Cop.
Oh yeah.
She's the one who's being protected by Arnold Schwarzenegger. But yeah, Watcher in the Woods is definitely one to watch, but not in the dark or alone. It's not on Disney Plus, which is annoying. Like, why would they make films and just like not put them on their own streaming platform?
I was just about to say it will definitely be available on. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's definitely not. I wanted to watch it and I ended up to watch it on another source, which
sounds like it might be on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, I think it is all on YouTube, actually, to be honest.
And, sorry, you may have mentioned this, but remade in 2017 with Angelica Houston and went straight to video. Or straight to TV.
Which is
TV
hard
movie.
in 2017 because there weren't any videos. It was so bad. They were like, we're putting it straight
so
to
bad.
video. So no one will be able to watch it because no one owns video anymore. The ultimate insult.
It is the ultimate insult.
It's going straight to Betamax.
Straight to Betamax.
Good luck, Angelica, screening this for your grandkids.
We're going to put it on video CD.
It's on like a double side. It's on one of them like Laserdisc.
Yeah, Laserdisc.
But it's a Laserdisc that's in like a big caddy. Like, did you ever see them? Like, it wasn't just the disc. It looked like a giant caddy. You actually had to put the case in with the disc. It's like you have to put like a whole box in.
That was like I don't even remember DVD. Was it DVD RAM? There was DVD ROM and DVD RAM. And DVD RAM was this like giant plastic floppy disk, like this giant case.
I have a friend who backed the wrong horse in the Blu-ray versus HD DVD. And he just has an entire wall of like HD DVDs that nobody wants anymore. It's got like a Blade Runner collector's edition with like postcards and all sorts of stuff. It's like, you can't even play this. There's like, I know, but I'm not going to get rid of it. It's just got like 5 copies of Blade.
We're going to release this on a mini disc audio book.
Mini discs are good. I still stand by that.
Mini disc can do everything ordinary tape can do. You can skateboard over it. Do you know what? That's just such a. Now that every single thing ever from history is online and you can watch it, it's still one of those references that kids don't get. So I'll say something like about. So I do a lesson. I teach music students, and I do a lesson where I'll bring in like a vinyl record, a cassette tape, a CD single, and a mini disc. And I'll say, look, it's mini disc. Mini disc can do everything ordinary tape can do. And they're just like, what the fuck is that? Like, I'm like, you can drive over it with a skateboard. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, come on, kids.
Well, none of you got skateboards.
What's a skateboard?
Am I so out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.
Minidisc has completely gone so far off the radar that they don't even retrospectively enjoy it. So I've got students who who will come in with like a Walkman, a tape Walkman, and go, "I'm so cool, look at me." And and a CD Walkman.
Oh, don't be one of those teachers who turns up the next day with like 50 tapes in a plastic bag. Like you've just made a friend.
I noticed this kid was like, look, I've got a CD Walkman. I was like, yeah, it's shit, isn't it? But every single time you move, the CD jumps, and he's like, yeah, and it runs through batteries pretty quick. I'm like, yeah, why do you think that we've moved on? Like, you've literally in your other pocket got the world's greatest music player that can play any music from any time and never really runs out of battery. Why are you using this?
Oh, does it have anti-skip? Oh, it doesn't.
But then,
you can't
like,
listen to it on the bus then.
I'm like, you know what's an improvement on the CD Walkman is the mini disc player. It doesn't skip. It's got like
You're moving in the right direction, kid.
I just really, I understand how people like vinyl because it kind of looks cool and it's still got some decent. There's no reason to have a CD Walkman because it's like it's so much better. It's kind of, I don't know. It's like a kid coming in going, I know you've got a microwave, but I've got a cast iron skillet that I like to cook my eggs in. It's like, yeah, I like to go retro. It's like, yeah, I guess. I mean, like, we've kind of moved on. We don't need to use that anymore.
The first CD Walkman I ever had was completely unusable because you would like walk with it and it would skip everywhere. And it's like, how is this even a thing? You'd be like walking down the road, like,
low battery.
You had to kind of hold it like the guy who holds the crown at the coronation. Like, it's so ponderous and slow and steady. Like, don't move. You had to hold your CD player like that, sit it on your knee on the bus, like, don't move. And then the bus would go over it and it's like, oh shit. Like,
and the wallet, the CD wallet.
Everybody's dad had a CD wallet with like about 100 CDs in it in the car.
You remember sat in the passenger seat flicking through it for the next CD you got?
I remember sort of like when people's cars used to get broken into, and it's like the police would go, have you lost anything? It's like, well, all my CDs and therefore all the boxes to those CDs which are in my house are fucking useless.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with them? And like, I remember my friends, I was out with my friend, we went to Manchester to watch a gig and his car got broken into. And we had to like drive home with a smashed window, which was the passenger side window, which was fun for me. And then like, a week later, I was like, how's your car, Dave? And he was like, well, they fixed the window and I'm getting, I've claimed on the insurance. And he's like, the most annoying thing now is I've got like 40 just CD boxes with booklets and I just don't know what to do with them. Am I just
Can you
throw
imagine
them
the
away?
insurance payout on like 150 CD wallet that went missing in a car robbery? You'd be like, that's so much money.
Yeah, well, he was like, I've got 40 CDs and they're all obviously like £10 each. And that was more expensive than the window.
Yeah.
The window was like 200 quid. The CDs that were stolen were, and so, yeah. And then I was like, well, Dave, just throw the boxes away because you're getting them replaced. And he was like, I can't just throw them away. They're still kind of useful. I was like, they're not useful to anyone. And he couldn't bring himself to get rid of them.
First, he just like sat unglassed on the way home, like, you've lost what, CD?
I wasn't laughing. I was fucking freezing.
Someone I knew had that happen to them. And the worst thing about it was the person who'd stole it, they'd stayed there long enough to flip through the CD wallet and they'd thrown maybe 90% of the CDs on the ground. It's like, that's really insulting. Like, I'm glad you not lost most of your CDs, but I think they're all shit. I think you should get new ones anyway.
They took the best Bryan Adams, but they left the Genesis CD.
What kind of monster was this? Police, you're looking for a maniac.
But yeah, moving on to, this is one that you've watched recently, Paul, so you'll be able to chime in with a few of this, which is 1981's Possession, which is starring a very sort of alive and young Sam Neill. It's obviously a supernatural thriller, but it's also a bit of a weird spy movie as well. Sam Neill spends a lot of the time in the film like completely disorientated, and like his eyes are completely like glazed over. One of the parts of it that just always gets to me is the fact that it's definitely one of the films of its time, especially the fact that it's sort of Berlin Wall style espionage and intrigue, but to the backdrop of a couple who have trouble and also they're dealing with horribly sort of possessed demons. But it's just also, it's kind of like a sultry sort of seedy film as well. It's been really hard to get hold of until very recently. The release of it was pretty much held up for a considerable length of time. It's only really recently been released in sort of high definition quality, and it was really hard to get hold of for ages. It wasn't anywhere to be found.
It was banned as part of that Video Nasties campaign.
Yeah.
It's also one of the things of like the monster in it is like forming itself to be like a doppelganger of Sam Neill's character. So there's loads of points in it where it's like, is it in? Is it not? Plus, Sam Neill always has the ability to be either like really nice and jovial in a film, or if he wants to be a really sinister and horrible bastard, like he can really sort of turn that on like quite a bit. Like especially in The Mouth of Madness is one of the films where he starts off like kind of normal, but then goes completely unhinged. And it's the same with Event Horizon. Like they want Sam Neill to be in a film. Either he's a really nice person or he's an absolute psychopath. There's no middle ground. He's either really good or absolutely unhinged.
We want you to be a little bit of a jerk in this movie. Right, so once I've peeled the skin off his face... No. Take a step back.
So what part do I cut the eyelids off him? And he goes, no. This is a 70s movie about a boy who learns the value of life by being taught astronomy from a ghost.
Obviously.
It's Field of Dreams, but with a radio telescope. If anybody wants any film ideas, that's my new idea. Moving on to the next film, which is The Beastmaster. The only reason I'm including this in a horror movie thing is there's a monster in Beastmaster, which is absolutely horrible. I've had nightmares of them almost my entire life since I first saw this film, which is The Winged Devourers from The Beastmaster. The film itself it's basically like a Conan ripoff, but there's a monster in it called the Winged Devourer, which is, they're like guardians of this temple place and these sort of monsters, but the whole thing is that they're basically just enormous sort of 6'5" bats, but their whole thing is that they wrap their wings around people and basically like eat them. It's just really, really, really horrible.
Maybe because they don't have mouths.
Yeah, they don't have mouths and they can't scream. The only thing that they leave on the ground is just like random bones. It's just really horrible.
No, just random bones. They take some, but
and they leave some of them, but the rest of them are just like left over. There's a really good GIF that I'm gonna post into our chat group where the Beastmaster sees the Winged Devourers like eviscerate somebody, and then his facial expression is just like, ooh.
Oh yeah, he's like, ew.
The thing about the Beastmaster is that Mark Singer, who's literally the Beastmaster, like his biggest credits are being in the TV series V and also being in Dallas. So obviously you can tell that I think he's not even like a big sort of these types of movies. You think if they're going to be led by somebody, they should be like an Arnold Schwarzenegger type caliber. He just looks like some dude who's just like, do you know how to wave a sword? And he's like, no. And it's like,
No.
Can you wear a loincloth for large periods of time? And he's like, yeah, sound. And it's just like, they give him the job.
Wearing one right now.
Like, the thing about the Beastmaster is as well, is that the only real two animals that he spends a lot of time with are an eagle. And then for some reason he has two ferrets who are like his best mates.
I'm master of beasts.
I think that's where they ran out of budget and they were like, we need some beasts. We've got no more money for beasts. And it's like, okay.
They had a promise that CGI was coming. It's like, no, we'll replace them. Like Jabba the Hutt, we'll replace them later.
They're ferrets now. There'll be giant alligators in the end, I promise. And it's like, they just got some guys like, listen, I've got a tenner. Can we borrow your ferrets for a day? Sure. My friend Deechan Lackman. So she's an actress. She was in Neighbours. She was in Dollhouse. She's been in loads of stuff, like Hawaii Five-0.
Was she in Aztec Rex?
Yeah, she was in Aztec Rex, and they made a promise to her that like everything.
Yes.
So they had like the classic like broom handle with a tennis ball on the end of it, and they were like, "Deechan, this is going to be a big scary T-Rex. So make sure." And she's like a cave girl, and they're like, "Make sure you're scared of it." And she was like, "Okay." And so they're waving this thing. She's like, "Ah!" And they were like, "It's going to be like Jurassic Park." And it was, spoiler, it was not Jurassic Park. It was a shit, like sci-fi channel with Ian Ziering.
I said the word Aztec Rex because people know what it's going to be.
Ian Ziering from Beverly Hills 90210 was in it, which probably should have given her an idea that it wasn't the new Jurassic Park. Yeah. And like she said the only other, so she was like, I've been fooled there. And then she said the only other time that happened was when she was in NCIS with LL Cool J, and she was in an episode where she was being interrogated, and LL Cool J kept saying to her, "Right, we're going to do another take, but this time be totally..." So she was trying to play this. She was accused of a crime, and she was trying to play it down, and she was playing it quite chill and like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And then LL Cool J was like, "Okay, so this time you're going to be nuts. Like, you're going to be screaming, 'I don't know what you're talking about!'" You know, doing all the lines that way. And she was like, okay. And then so she did it because LL Cool J is not just the actor in it. He was also like a producer. So he was directing it, right? So she kind of had to do what he said.
And he knows acting.
Even though, yeah, exactly. This is LL Cool J we're talking about, right? So he's been in Halloween H2O, and you know, so he knows a Deep Blue Sea, so he knows what he's talking about.
Where he plays the same character.
So she did it. She kind of did this take where he's like, and she said when it came out and she watched it, you've got LL Cool J being really cool. And he's like, "Hey, what happened?" She's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." She was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, it's Aztec Rex all over again." Like, then when they just edited all of his really calm, chill questions with her going absolutely fucking nuts and looking like a lunatic. She was like, "Okay, never doing that again."
If they're doing that, he should be called LL Uncool J.
Oh.
He's lost it now. Like that.
I'm just looking at a picture of him on Wikipedia where he's receiving the 2017 Kennedy Center honors, and it's like they should be stripped from him for how he treated Deechan Lackman in that episode of NCIS because he tricked her. he fooled her to make himself look better because she's a good actress. She's actually a good actress. Like, she got a lot of experience in doing these kind of roles where she's a bit of a kind of weird psychopath and she's got to be chill about it. She's done that before, you know, so I feel like he sort of saw her and was like, "Yeah, she's a bit too good at this. Okay, I'm going to have to make her look crazy." And succeeded.
She's acting me right off the screen.
Not today. Not to LL Cool J.
But yeah, Beastmaster, one to watch, but not one to watch if you want to keep your dinner down.
Also, if you've got a couple of ferrets or rabbits, or you can refer to yourself from now on as a Beastmaster.
I've got a lot of spiders in the house, so I could just say.
I think Paul will have more.
Do you have a problem, Kirsty?
Yes, I do. Yes, I've got a Victorian house.
Somebody?
A Victorian house, which is beginning to like come apart at the seams. And the spiders rule the house now. We just live with them and try and bargain with them.
Toys.
Demonic toys. Playtime has begun.
I don't have any toys.
Because you were just like that weird kid at school where you go to their house and you're like, "What should we play?" "I don't have any toys." "Oh." "Let's read from my one book of poetry."
What if we play with an old bit of cut off wood from Granddad's garage?
Best toy in the world. Is that a blunt axe?
I could bring my rock.
This was our childhood. You still got that bit of wood you found? I've still got my rock. I'll meet you at the park in 10.
just as you mentioned that my dad made, I can't remember what it was. He was like I think it might have been a character from, he was like an evil TV. My dad made my sister one out of wood, and that was like in her room for years.
Oh, was it Evil Edna from Will o' the Wisp?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
First prize.
I love that. Like Will o' the Wisp was such a weird show. I don't know. This won't relate to like if anyone's listening in America or Australia. It's like a very strange cartoon about a Will o' the Wisp, which is a forest ghost, and it had Kenneth Williams from Carry On Films.
It even looked like him.
Yeah, and it was just a straight. So you've got like Mavis, who's like a big fat Welsh fairy. You've got Evil TV and the Will o' the Wisp, and then the Moog, which is a weird little dog. Like a sort of Pekingese type dog. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, but my sister had a homemade Evil Edna, so it was just a piece of wood with nails in it. For toys this week, what I wanted to do just to move away from my traumatic childhood where my dad made my sister's toys out of wood and nails. I'm going to move on to a time where kids weren't really too bothered about E-numbers when you had the Dr. Dreadful collection of food makers, and they had different types of ones. There's a link that I will share that can be shared in the when this is posted to social media, but these are just all kinds of mad E-numbers. Like you would get boxes of syrup and like it was just basically sugar. And you would like pump them into it, but the types of things you would make would be so grotesque. It'd be like you could make like jelly hearts with like gooey blood on the inside, or they had ones where you would make like insects, where you would like drink brains out of a skull. Like this is what I spent my time doing as a kid. Was literally just drinking refined sugar from skeletons and making like gelatin bugs out of. Plus the things that you would use to push the material into it, it was through syringes that were like all done up to look even more like a mad lab. Plus like the guy who was in the adverts for it was completely unhinged. There's one episode he goes, Dr. Dreadful is now available in radioactive, and then he's got like a third arm and he looks down and goes, I like it. We get the one person that you don't want around children. This advert. But it was just literally a time where kids would just drink food colouring with fine sugar, and the whole collection is just the more that you see different types of it. Like there's all sorts of ones. Like there's ice cream and drinks, and I had the drink that was just. It had dry ice as well, which in hindsight is probably not a good thing for kids to be like getting anywhere near your mouth. Like, why is this in it? I just remember being like locked in my room on Christmas Day, just like making mad concoctions, thinking I was like a evil scientist, just going absolutely mental off refined sugar and food colouring.
Is that the perfect example of the 80s, though? Drinking refined sugar out of a glow-in-the-dark skull. The 80s, yeah. So I found this one. I don't know if you can eat the goo. I'm sure a lot of kids did, either way. But I just thought this was grotesque. So it was called Ooze It. And you get this tub of stuff to put in it. And you basically squeeze it. So it's this like horrible-looking monster thing who doesn't look very happy, and then you squeeze it and all this like red goo oozes out of its eyes and nose and ears and mouth, and it's just vulgar.
That looks horrible.
And it wasn't just, I'm sure there were other ones other than this, but the whole thing is you just literally squeeze the life out of it. And then the other one I found, which is one that I do remember being on adverts, this is Monster Face. So you make your own, it's like Mr. Potato Head, but monster, right?
Oh, I had this.
And the worst thing about it is when you see not in the advert, but when you see the actual thing, God, it's terrifying. It'd be one of those things that you say to your mum when you go into bed, can you put that in the cupboard? Or can you put a blanket over Monster Face, please? Because you would not want that staring at you. It's got this like knowing expression, like it is looking at you.
This is just like a Mr. Potato Head for unhinged children.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about it. It's just got this look to it that's like, yes, I am watching you.
It follows you around the room.
Welcome to Needful Things.
So there's a horror legends alphabet book. And it says it's for kids, but I think they've misunderstood what the book is, and it's not actually for kids. Because, just to give you an example, this is the letter K, and it's Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
It's never appropriate for kids.
K is for Freddy Krueger. Dressed in his fedora and trademark red and green sweater, Freddy is one of the most unforgettable faces in horror history. While he haunted the dreams of the teens who lived on Elm Street, you could say he was well-mannered, since he could never pick his nose.
This is definitely those, you see those parents where they've got their kid and their kid's wearing a Nevermind the Bollocks onesie. And they're like, he loves the Sex Pistols. Like, no, he fucking doesn't love the Sex Pistols, right? Stop trying to impress your things that you like on a 6-month-old baby who does not give a fuck. And it's like, oh, actually, I know he's only 3, but his favourite film is Princess Mononoke is his favourite. Like, no, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Yeah,
he likes bright colours and loud sound. He likes Grave of the Fireflies. No, he fucking doesn't, you lunatic. He doesn't like that. You've sat him in front of it because you're weird and you want your kid to be cool, and then no baby is cool. No baby is cool. They're not. And so this is 100% for that market. It's like, oh my god, you'll never guess what I bought for Jasper. It's like a horror book, but it's like for kids. Like, yeah, fuck off, fuck off, mate. Buy them a normal board book of ducks and bunny rabbits. This is what babies like. They don't want to look at Freddy Krueger, so that you can show off on Instagram. Yeah, they hate their life.
I'll just finish these and then I'll get to what you just posted. So this is a Candyman cuddle pillow. But the thing I like about it is they've not been able to decide whether to do it like a doll or a pillow. So it's just a classic rectangular pillow with arms and legs stuck on the side. They was just like, they just couldn't agree. And then I've got some others that I'll save for next week.
It's got all the bees. It's got all the bees.
It's got the bees.
Yes.
So they nailed that one. If they could just get this, is it a cushion or is it a doll over the line? And the last one is you can get a rug with the shining carpet pattern on it that I thought was just awesome.
Just have a kid going back and forth on a tricycle on it. Can't go anywhere.
Yell at them when they stop. I'm paying for this.
There's a lady I work with who has a top which she got from probably like Bon Marche or just a standard women's clothes shop, which is the same print as the carpet in The Shining. And by the way, she's never seen The Shining, and her favourite film is like Dirty Dancing. She's not seen The Shining. She's not into horror. But like, I was like, Linda, she was like, I know, it looks like the carpet from The Shining. I know it does. She was over it. She's like, I know it does. I know it looks like that. Everyone keeps telling me. And yet you persist in wearing it to work, where we will all comment on it.
I paid 60 quid for it. I'm wearing it till the end of the month and then it's going in the bin.
She did. She was like, it was quite expensive, and not everyone knows it's like the shining carpet. It's like some days she gets away with it, but when she comes to the art centre, and we're all like, shining carpet. I guess when she goes to like Vauxhall Road where they teach joinery and plumbing and refrigeration, maybe they haven't got that like, cultural reference. But as soon as she walks in the art centre, everyone's like, fucking hell. Cool, shining carpet top. She's like, it's not. It's just a nice shirt with a nice pattern.
She sends a complaint email to them about copyright with the title Weirdo Magnet.
So I've noticed that Shein. So do you remember I talked last week about the sweatshirt that said somebody's feral aunt, and it's got the ghostly it makes no fucking sense. But ever since I sort of screenshotted that, I've just been fed so many and I really like all the things on Shein.
Begging your phone, please forget.
Please forget. All the things on Shein are so cheap that what I want to do in September when I normally in August when I'm about to go back to teaching, I'm like, right, okay, the kids have seen every single thing I own. They know that I don't own a lot of clothes because I'm poor, because I'm a teacher. So I have to go and buy new clothes. And like, I
Is
really...
that the same thing you had on yesterday, miss? It's still got that pen on it.
I made the mistake of, so I got this really nice, I got what I thought was a really nice top that was really trendy from the, and I wore it, and like, and the kid, I remember the kids looking at it and going like, I like your shit. What kind of, what'd you say that is? And it's like a grey kind of cotton, boxy, like mottled kind of design. And they were like, what kind of like design is that? And I said, oh, my partner Lewis says it looks like a garage floor. And they're like, yes, it looks like a garage floor. And now when I wear it, they're like,
you should hang around with shining carpet more often.
Like, Kirsty's got a garage floor top on again. But I really fancy, so I keep getting, so it'll go in all the socials, but basically it's like a cotton dress with like skulls and rib cages all over it. And I'm like, I really want to...
It's awesome.
I think it's cool, and I kind of want to go onto Shein in like August and just type in the word skull and buy everything that comes up. Because I feel like on day one, like I'll walk in and the kids who've only just, the new students will be like, oh cool, Miss has got like skeletons on her top. And then the next day it's like, oh, she's got skeletons on her dress. Oh, she's got skulls on her skirt. Oh, Miss is peculiar.
Did you just start watching Bones, Miss?
Miss, do you like...
trying to craft a new identity for yourself?
Do you like horror stuff? So I feel like just doing that and just being that. I think I'm getting to the age now where I could just sort of be nuts and like not follow fashion and not do anything and just be one of those.
Purple.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to. It's getting to the point with my hair now where like I used to pluck out the grey hairs, and now if I did that, I would be bald. I'd be like a weird bald person, be like patches of hair. So it's like, and I can't be arsed dyeing it. It's a lot, and I'm thinking like, what do I do with this? So I'm gonna be one of those women with just like bits of pink or bits of green, because I can't be bothered dyeing the whole thing. It's not gonna work.
Just
and,
the
like,
foils.
Not even the foils, just those cheap like ones that you get and you just do over the bath, you know, that turn your neck green and you're like, I'm green hair today. I don't give a shit, kids. I don't care anymore. I've got my skull dress and I've got my green hair. Yeah, I'm a witch. Call me a witch. I don't give a fuck. It's cool. I'm 45 and I don't give a fuck anymore.
Ginger people don't go grey. We just slowly go more blonde until we die. I started off a copper. Now I'm sort of like an off orange.
Yeah. It is kind of like if I ever, because there are times when still I get ID'd for alcohol. Still, I'm 44 years old. I do not look like, even if it's challenge 25, which we have in this country, I don't look 24. I've admitted that now. But there are still some times when some overzealous, usually like 18-year-old cashier is like, I can't really judge your age. Like, have you got any ID?
For the listeners at home, Kirsty is the size of a 12-year-old child. Yeah,
I'm the size and I'm the height of a 12-year-old child. But I'm definitely like, I've lived too long now and I don't look like a 12-year-old child.
You smell much older.
Unless it's like that one that they think is the child and don't look now, but it's actually a wizened dwarf. I'm definitely moving towards that kind of like, you know, there was a time in my life where if I'd have worn like a red hooded cloak, yeah, they would have gone, oh, have you come as Red Riding Hood? I'm now in the era of, yo, you've come from the dwarf from Don't Look Now.
Oh, look, it's a dwarf and I don't look now. I'm Red Riding Hood.
I'm carrying a toy wolf. Yeah, did she have a wolf in Don't Look Now? That's so weird. Like,
Kirsty's now searching raincoats on Shein.
Yeah, I'll just go in wearing like a different horror outfit. My second little thing that I found is so there's this thing in York, right, which is now, it's hit, I don't know if you've ever been to York, there's an area called the Shambles, which is all a big cobbled little tiny street.
There, yeah.
Yeah, it's like what Diagon Alley is based on, I think, in Harry Potter. And it is cool, but it's become, since sort of TikTok people have got hold of it, it's now like it's all over TikTok. And there's this shop called the York Ghost Merchants where they just sell little figurines of ghosts. That's all. It's like a very basic like sheet ghost with 2 little eyes on, and they do very
Perfect.
easy, like just normal ones, which are like 17 quid. But then they do limited edition ones, and the limited edition ones sell out immediately. And my friend, I don't actually get it. I think they're quite cute, but I don't really get it. My friend's got like 400 of these things, and like will wait up and like sit on the internet waiting for like a one to go on sale, and be like, oh my god, I got it. So this is the York Ghost Merchant. But there's also a company called the Spookarium in West Kirby, who I think have realised that actually that's just a really easy mould to make if you're going to do ceramics, and you can't actually trademark it, or so they've just like ripped it off basically and done the same thing. But then so you can, the spook is on Instagram, it's the underscore Spookarium, so SPOOKARIUM, based in West Kirby, and all they do is make these little ghosts. But you can just get the normal ghost, but they also do custom ones, and so they had this little Pennywise ghost, and it's so adorable. It's like a little Pennywise. He's got a red balloon, and you look at it and go, "Oh,
I'll go with you.
It's so cute. It's got a little cute
Come on,
face."
kid.
And so you could actually get like do custom ones for people. Like I imagine they're a lot more expensive than the normal ones, but I just think they're super cute. And if you like ghosts, and also it's funny, my tattoo artist Mandy, she also does a good line in sort of like little sheet ghosts with different things, like an ice cream cone, or so it's just I don't know, it's just a cute little thing. I was like, oh, maybe I'll get a tattoo of a little sheet ghost. And I think I recommended to you, Paul, a film called Ghost Story, which is with Casey Affleck. It's the same studio as Hereditary and Iron Claw and all those, like, you know, Midsummer or Pearl. But it like that is a ghost who's just like comes back as a ghost in a white sheet with 2 holes in it. And I think it's quite cool that like that kind of image of a ghost is coming back, because it's just so iconic. It's like, that's a ghost. I know what that is. And like all these little ceramic houses doing them. But yeah, that's the little Pennywise ghost from the Spookarium in West Kirby.
That's awesome. Maybe we could get a Dead Reckoning one done.
Yeah, maybe you could get a custom one done. Yeah, if you want to pay for it, and then I'll just keep it at my house. That's cool. Yay!
International postage is just too much these days.
I'll get it, and it'll just be powder. And
we could just send
a little card that says "Enjoy your gift."
Save the most unhinged till last, so I'm going to move on with this. So I wouldn't say this is something that I really need or want, but it's something that I'm completely like in awe of, more or less. So I was looking up things to talk about. I wanted to like see if there was like any ghost stories or just generally sort of unhinged sort of weird news. And what I found is I was browsing Reddit. I was browsing some weird news, and there was a woman in 2019 who was arrested for lewdness. I'm gonna have to get this out. She was arrested for she was arrested.
That's what she said.
For public indecency. She was arrested for public indecency. He was arrested for public indecency at a children's dinosaur park. But this is the reason this is a needful thing is I'm just going to post the article. So police hunt woman pictured having sex with a dinosaur at a children's dinosaur park. So this happened at the Exmouth Dino Trail. This woman was basically straddling this T-Rex dinosaur. I'm going to post a bit more of an up-close picture of the actual.
Please don't.
So someone caused it's caused through like a dinosaur forest.
Oh my God.
I know, but that isn't the needful thing. So basically, because I had viewed this article, as the Google algorithm manages to do from time to time, just from viewing this one article from the Metro about a woman who clearly had some problems.
Can I just my favourite bit? It says the picture of the sexual act on a headless baby T-Rex just to make things worse. It's like if it was like a grown-up Stegosaurus with a head, that'd be not too bad. But it was a baby T-Rex and it didn't even have a head.
I thought they'd removed the head because of this.
No, it
and Jed was
already
going to
had
say
a
that
head.
he'd found the head for sale.
It's even worse than that. But the algorithm kept giving me suggestions for dinosaur themed snack toys. So this is what the Google algorithm.
Oh my god! At least they're diverse.
Brontosaurus,
Like, yeah.
and this is a T-Rex. But the company that actually advertises the T-Rex posted this wonderful mock-up of how it can look if you do it in a sultry position, which is from Jurassic Park.
Now that Brontosaurus head in the background looks even more like it looks really weird.
Oh no.
So I was talking to my partner Lewis, who listens to this show every week, and he said, you know, when you're doing the needful things in the toys, you should make sure that the pictures are up before the episode comes out so that you can see what's, and I actually agreed with that, and now I'm disagreeing with it. No, I don't. I think if you put those up on socials, people will be like, I'm not listening to that episode. I'm done.
To summarise, life certainly shouldn't find a way to allow you to do that.